Contact! The engine roared to life and the plane strained against the chocks. All my gauges reeled to life. A couple of men under each wing began pushing against the struts, and in a moment, it was lumbering, skidding, fishtailing down that runway, and I thought to myself, my God, this is it. This is really it. And after 1,000 feet, wasn't off the runway yet, but I could feel the strength coming into the stick. And by the halfway point, still wasn't off the runway yet, but I could feel the load shifting from wheels to wings. 2,000 feet of runway left. I pulled back on the controls and she rose up and then she bounced down again. I thought, my God, I'm too full of fuel. Telephone wires rushing toward me. Pulled back on the controls again and she rose up, barely clearing the telephone wires by less than 20 feet. Now my plan was to stay over land as much as possible, navigating by dead reckoning until I reached the shortest point between the continents at St. John's, Newfoundland. From there, it would be a straight shot across the Atlantic where I would graze Ireland and England before hitting France and Paris. And everything had started far better than I ever could have imagined. And by noon, I was over Nova Scotia, just 6 miles off course. Guess there was something to be said for this navigation by dead reckoning, except, of course, the name. At 7:15 p.m., I headed out over the trackless wastes, the great solitude, the desert-like beauty of the ocean. I flew into a dark, moonless night. And although I'd already been in the air for 12 hours, this, right now, was the very beginning of my great adventure. And already, I was so tired. I did everything I could think of to stay awake and alert. I kept telling myself there's no alternative but death and failure. But it had never been this bad before. My back was stiff, shoulders ached, face burned, eyes stung. All I wanted to do was lay out flat, stretch out and sleep. But there could be no sleep for me this night. And then, in my 18th hour of flight, barely halfway across the Atlantic, something very strange happened. The cockpit, in fact, the entire fuselage began to fill with ghosts. Strange, misshapen forms, vague outline forms riding behind me. I could see them behind me without even turning my head. I decided to try to talk to them. I said, "Spirits, will I make it or will I crash?" And then I thought, maybe you have crashed, falling asleep and not realizing it. I tell you, I did not know if I was awake, asleep, alive, or dead, but I kept on flying into that endless eternity of a night after what seemed to be forever. There, on the horizon, it was sunlight, sunrise. I made it through the night. The ghosts all began to fade. And then again, on the horizon, up there ahead, it was land. But wait, what land? I looked at the landmass, back to my maps, back to the landmass, and I thought, wait, no, it can't be. It can't. But it was. It was Dingle Bay, the coast of Ireland. I had been flying for 28 hours and I was less than 2 miles off course. Woohoo! Yeah!